Hey, what's up, people? How's it going now? Today is October 26th, 2025. I was thinking back, I just talking to someone about an issue. And it's funny because even today, it's like the graffiti writers that used to do the pieces and the wild style burners and shit like that was down with me. They always had problems with having problems, like with going to war with people and stuff like that. That's kind of like why I never did any real pretty burners on the subways because it'll just get crossed out. People hunt for that stuff. I mean, even now in my old age, I mean, I sit back and I think about that shit, and it's funny because, like, if someone had problems and they wanted to start to go to war with someone and cross them out, it's like they would never ask Lace Andrew, because he'd be like, oh, no, 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 because he'd be thinking about his pieces and that whole, like the art department, I like to call it, of 357, the art department, which would be like KK, hell, even Sash would fit in there, Lace, 357, people who were doing burners and wild style pieces on the subways. They would always vote against like going to war and shit like that. So if you ask Andrew Lace, LACE, he'd be like, this, that. But they ask me, I'm like, yeah, fuck him. Like, go ahead, go over. What the fuck you bothering me for? Go ahead, go over. But yeah, that's kind of like why I was never really the prez either. I never wanted that position because I would have took it down a whole different path. It's like Lace was playing nice, and even with like Ben and Ghost and them when they did the whole train, the Easter whole train, he would play nice. It was like good cop, bad cop. Like I'd be bad cop, and Lace would be like good cop. They'd be like, "Yo, RD, this, that," and they'd get in touch with Lace through Sash or something like that. And I'd be like, "Well, what can I do?" Yeah. And then over there, go, if you let them in on a whole car and shit like that, it was fucking hilarious the way that shit pans itself out. But yeah, I was always like, yeah, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them. Like, I didn't give a fuck about none of that shit, man. I would go over all the asses. But the people that were doing the pieces, they'd sometimes be like, oh, come on, man. They can cause all this shit because, if when you got beef with a crew like that, it's like, they're going to go after the pieces. You know what I mean? So that's why I stuck to doing insides. And I do top to bottoms, just a bunch of, like, I would rather do one car, like the whole side of the train. I've said this so many different times. I'd rather do the whole side of a train than run around doing like fucking 10 little bubble letters or something, 20 little bubble letters. I'd rather just do one big ass one. Yeah, that was my mentality. So I never really gave a fuck about that. I never put nothing out there. That was rule number one. Never put nothing in the street you love, man. Like something you care about, yeah. Funny shit, man. Funny as fuck, yeah. I was thinking back about that. Someone was like, whenever they were like, they didn't have a good enough reason to start ragging someone, they'd come to me and shit. Go, Rob, I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. Go over them. I don't give a fuck about that stupid shit. Go over them. What do I care? Andrew Lace and, those guys, KKPK even, he was doing all the cards and top to bottoms and shit like that. But yeah, those guys would get tight, man. They were like, oh, come on, man. Yeah, I remember that shit. Even with, on the Sixers, I forget, man. Yeah, I was going over everyone in that fucking mother. I was like, bring it, bitch. Yeah, but it's really two different types of graffiti writers when you think about it. Like just think about even today with the murals and stuff. Like out in Bushwick and shit like that, and people that run around doing these murals and stuff, they don't stand a chance out there. When you got someone out there like, oh, fuck that shit, and they do a filling over that shit, like the Bushwick Collective or something like that. I see people going out there like, that ain't real graffiti, and they'll do their fillings, and like, I guess they're trying to take back their neighborhood or something like that. They get mad at all these like fucking, I don't know, like the bullshit, the murals and the street art and stuff like that. So they try and go over it with tags and fill-ins and stuff like that. But yeah, I get a kick out of that shit, man. Some things they don't change, man. Some things don't change in the graph world, but yeah, that's funny shit, man. I was thinking about, on here I've been so busy. I got other things I'm doing in life that kind of take priority over me sitting here talking to you guys on YouTube. I originally started this website, this YouTube channel during the pandemic when the city was all locked down. It was kind of boring, with nothing really going on. So I started this YouTube channel. But as of lately, I got other things going on in life that opportunities, we'll say. I got a lot of very good opportunities coming around. I mean, not all of them are art related or graffiti related. Some of them are just things that fell in my lap, So I've been curbing my videos on here. My Patreon, I'm still going strong on there. And I'm going to start switching it up a little. Maybe I'm not going to come on as much. Or if not, I'm thinking about just doing lives. And while I'm doing the live, I'll be drawing. You could see what I'm drawing, and we could talk. You could ask questions or something like that. But yeah, this whole YouTube thing, it's kind of ran its course, I would say. I guess the best way to be with, originally it was to occupy my time. This YouTube channel originally was to occupy my time. And now it's actually taking up my time from important things that I would rather accomplish than sit here talking to you guys, And yeah, another part, I mean, shit, pushing it to 60, kind of getting tired of this whole graffiti shit, It gets a bit boring after 40-something years. Just blah, 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 I mean, I was blessed to have this YouTube platform, and I'm not going anywhere, but I'm definitely going to start limiting my videos on here. It's like I said, I got other things coming up. Like I was even back in touch with those people that are making the documentary about me, and they're trying to really push that thing through to the point where it's like pushing me more than I want to be pushed, like I don't have time for. So yeah, I got that. A couple other situations that are coming down the pipes and make it where I'm very busy. I also would like to get back into the gym. My body, you get a little flabby, I got to tighten that shit up a little bit, What else was there? It was something else. Oh, about the mayoral campaigns and all this stuff about the mayors. And I said before, I think on one of my lives, that Curtis Leewell is the person that I'll go for. I can't do the whole Como thing. I look at Como as Curtis Leewell says, it's almost the same thing as Mandami. And I know people that actually, loved ones died in those old people homes and shit like that during the COVID pandemic. Even a couple of them even wrote graffiti. I'm not going to put their name on blast or nothing. But I know a graffiti writer that lost his father. Yeah, actually two graffiti writers. Nick 707 died from COVID. So, I mean, he was in no old people's home or nothing, but, people did die from this shit. Let's be real. How else was what else was it about the whole thing? Yeah, the whole shit with the sexual harassment of women. I don't know. Nowadays, they used to say believe all women until the whole Amber Heard thing, So I don't know, Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. I don't know. I'm not a woman. He's not grabbing my ass. The one thing is when he fudged the numbers, like the amounts of deaths that occurred, he was fucking with those numbers to make himself look better. Yeah, that was something I couldn't like. That's just downright conniving. Like if he could do that, that's fudging numbers, man. You can't do that and expect to be looked at as someone with integrity. Now, Curtis Leewell, I think on my last live, I was telling you guys I was talking to my brother on the phone. He's in prison. And he remembers he used to work on 42nd Street. Times Square, Broadway, shit like that, and all the peep shows where you would get the coins, these little tokens. My brother was one of those people who was selling those tokens. Chances are, if you went in any of those places, he was kind of like a floater. Like, say someone called out sick from Paradise Alley, he would go over to there. If not, he would go to Show World or Peepland, wherever there's someone out. He was just on rotation because they were all connected to each other, these peep shows. And, I was actually, like I was saying, I was talking to him about it, and I'm going to get him one day on his voice because he's not getting out till, wow, he goes before the parole board, 2039. But I could definitely get him to speak on the phone about how it was working back there in 42nd Street. But he was telling me a story about Curtis Leewell, where it was like the dude was literally knifed. He was knifed. He had like 10, 15 people out there. This is when this whole shit, you're talking 84, 1983, 1984 or something like that. And this is when it was at its peak, this whole Guardian Angels thing. And he was like, he was like with one other dude, like one other skinny Spanish dude, man. And they were going for that. Like 10, 15 people trying to kill him. He was like, he's bleeding all over the place. So they dragged him into the fucking peep show, and they locked the fucking door and called the cops. An ambulance came and took him away, shit like that. Like, for real, that dude's like fucking Daredevil or something out there. Like, think about that for a minute, man. Like, I lived it. I remember on the one train, it's just like you could never take the one train without seeing the fucking Guardian Angels. Like, they were always on the one train. I don't know about the letter lines. I don't remember them fucking around on the letter lines too much, but always the one train, always the 4 train. When I was coming down from the Bronx, I would always see him on the 4 train. I used to bump into them all the time. Case 2 also. He would be walking through the cars. We'd have a little cup on his arm, begging for money and shit like that. Case 2, TFP, the Graffiti riot. Yeah, always, man. But Curtis Leewell, he started that whole fucking thing. Like, he wasn't getting no money for that shit. I originally thought he worked in Midtown Manhattan for some kind of like a mail clerk or something, a mailroom guy. But I found out just recently he was actually like an employee at McDonald's up in the Bronx. And, he just got tired of seeing this shit. Like, I guess to make a long story short, you people know all this stuff, but that dude loves New York. Like, I mean, as far as it goes with his skills, his budgeting, and maybe deal making and stuff, I don't know. Maybe he's not the sharpest tool. But as far as it goes with where his heart is, yeah, I would say he's the best bet. But it's like I said, Como, from what I remember, I liked when Como was coming out every day during the pandemic and saying where we're at and what's going on and what's coming in. And I remember this big fucking battleship that was coming in that Trump said, yeah, you guys can have the battleship. And we're going to turn it into like a hospital to put these people on it that are sick with COVID or some shit like that. It was going to come up on the Hudson River there. I remember every day it's coming, and it's coming in, and it's over here now, and it's slowly moving its way towards New York. I remember telling my Samantha, coworker, I was like, by the time that, because I was an essential worker, I had to work through the pandemic. It was like a ghost town out there. And it was like across from Bellevue. It was like meat trucks, literally like 18-wheeler trucks, freezer trucks. And I would watch out my window. I'd see them putting fucking bodies in there like body bags, just throwing them in these big 18-wheeler trucks and shit. So people were definitely dying from that shit. But I remember telling Samantha, by the time these fucking boat gets here, it's just going to be me and Samantha. Like, we're over here. For real, it was crazy. Like, you couldn't even buy coffee. Like, the coffee guy wasn't there and nothing, man. Like, you didn't see cabs. The only thing going up and down the street was, like, fucking cops. Cops and ambulances. And me. Yeah, like, you'd look up the 59th Street Bridge, the Queensboro Bridge, which is empty. It was like, I am legend, man. For real, I was like fucking Will Smith out there. But, yeah, I remember when that boat was coming in. And I liked when Governor Como would come on every day and tell us where we're at and stuff. I actually still had TV at that point. I've since got rid of having a TV and watching TV. At this point, I'm anti-TV. So I like that about him. But this Mandami guy, I mean, I don't know. I heard, well, he has a position now, but I heard like the only shit he's got is like he worked with his mom, like on some like intern shit, like where, and it's your mother. And it's kind of like running the shit, like in Disney. So who's gonna say something bad to the mother about their kid? You know, so I'm pretty sure it was almost like a John Avildsen moment, you know, with Karate Kid or something with J.A., you know. You could do no wrong, you know. Yeah. So nepotism, or whatever the word is. Yeah. So that's what I could say about the mayoral campaign. I also, Gradient is the name of the book I was trying to think of. Like, I did an episode on a book. Someone said they have a book about me, and it's like a whole mess of pages in it, and it's an art magazine that came out. And I was like, yeah, that must be Gradient Magazine. And that was 18 years ago from when I dropped that video. So now it's probably 20 years ago. And you read that book, Gradient, that magazine, the art magazine, it's like a 4 or 5 page spread of me in there. I actually, it's like I had a crystal ball. Like everything that's happening right now is exactly where we are. Like I was talking, I'm like the fucking Simpsons, yo. For real. I was talking about this shit fucking 20 years ago. Exactly. Like, I mean, all right, we're not on soup lines yet. We're not like, excuse me, sir, can you spare some more? Some more cut to me, brother, like some Oliver's Twist shit. We're not there, but we're fucking damn close to it, man. You know, like I was saying something about, like, we're all going to hear like bing, 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 like they're going to have a bell. And we all come out of our apartments with like a little bowl and like a little spoon. We go up to probably the subway station because they got these big subways filled with rice. And they come and they give you a little scoop of rice and they say, okay, here you go. Go about your way and you'll go back to your little apartment with your little scoop of rice and shit. Like, for real. Yo, we're going there, yo, like true communism, man. But I don't know, man. I was talking about that shit 20 fucking years ago, man. In that Gradient magazine that I did. I have a copy here. One day I was saying I was going to do it on my Patreon. On my Patreon, I'm still running regularly, like boom, 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 like a couple times a week. But just on here, like, I don't know. It's just, I'm losing interest in it, people. Like, I'm really losing interest. Like, I'm at the point where I don't give a fuck what you people think about graffiti anymore. I'm like, well, what do I care? Like, you know? Like, seriously, I'm like, why do I give a fuck about these people and their views on graffiti and shit like that? Like, what the fuck's it matter to me? Like, I'm just trying to talk here and be social, you know, spend a little time, maybe enlighten people a little bit. But I got no dog in this race, man. I don't give a fuck about graffiti. I'm fucking pushing it to 60. I mean, if I do something, I'll get video footage of it. That's all I give a fuck about, you know? Like, the actual act of doing it, to me, like, for it to sit there, I mean, I was never lucky at having shit last a long time because I'm not going to play nice. I'm not going to play nice with people. That's the bottom line. So my shit never really lasted long. Like I was saying with the crew, it was almost like a division between like the art department and then like security and enforcement. Like that was me. Like, like Lace was like the prez and shit like that, you know. But I was the head of like security and enforcement. I was like, that's me. Like I didn't give a fuck about all that. I mean, I did. I love to watch it. I never benched and took pictures of stuff. I hung out with other people that were benching. Lace, for instance, would have marijuana, and he'd say he's going to take pictures of some whole car or something, and whether I was with him the night before or not, I'll come along with him, we'll smoke some weed at the end of the platform, the outdoor station, we'll wait for the train to come in, and we'll take pictures of it. We'll go home, you know. But as far as it goes with me waking up with a little camera and getting on a train and going to take pictures of my shit, I was never into that. I guess since the internet, I kind of take pictures of my shit. Since the existence of the internet, I started taking pictures of stuff. I don't know. I mean, not really train shit. Like, I don't post that, but yeah. So I guess you evolve, right? You slowly but surely, you know, it's you become a new Jack. Like our you fall into the ways of the new world, like the graffiti of nowadays. It's totally different, man. It's like I say, I go out for the summers. I like to enjoy my summer. I go out, I'll do a little something for video. And Jesus Christ, the whole fucking internet goes in a fucking uproar for every fucking summer, man. Every summer. Like, imagine if I was really, really, really out there. Like, I was out there. Like, come on, that shit is bug, man. It's like wild shit. Every fucking summer. Oh, yo. I'm like, oh, wow, man. Yeah, it's crazy shit, man. But yet, if you're like a nobody, say I just started to write that summer, I never wrote a day in my life, and I did all that same stuff, you wouldn't hear a peep out of it. No one would give a fuck. Yeah, no one would. It would be nothing because it's of an unknown. So it goes to show you legacy kind of equals like legend status. It's like as the Wiz said, everyone either wants to write with you or fight with you. Right? As the Wiz said that in I always get this movie wrong. Style Wars. Yeah. I always say Wild Style. Yo, no, yo, you meant to say Style Wars. I mean, come on, you guys know what I'm fucking talking about. I turn this button on, I start videoing, and I talk. So I might say Style Wars instead of Wild Style, or Wild Style instead of Style Wars. And it's like some big gotcha moment. You fucking idiots. Yeah. But I mean, I actually enjoy that fun of the internet. Just, I guess, being right all the time on here. Like when you guys I mean, when people talk about rules and this and that, but then they don't follow them themselves. And yeah, it's bugged out. But I don't know what it is. It's like, I guess that's what it is. Like when an old school cat comes out for the summer, the world shakes, man. People take pictures. People say, oh, wow, yo, go, whoa, it's on. Here we go. And it's really like I'm just out there killing time, and it's not that big a deal for me. I enjoy doing it. But yeah, man, I guess I'll be hunted to the day I die. Yeah, like these people, they go for the fame. Like I said, if I just started writing Joe Blow yesterday, and I did, or June, if I started writing Joe Blow June, and then we're sitting here in October, and I did all that same graffiti, you probably wouldn't see one picture taken of any of that stuff. Not one picture would be taken of it. Not one person would bitch. Not one person would even go over this shit unless they just wanted the spot rather than wanting the fame, But yeah, that's pretty interesting shit, man. Definitely. I don't know what else was there. All right, we talked about Mindami, right? Yeah, I don't know. I can't even fathom that whole shit with Mindami. Yeah, I don't think it'll be the end of New York. I believe that New York has a way of going. Plus, you have Trump in office, so he'll kind of keep reins on the thing. And I do believe we're probably going to get a Republican governor. I believe that's Stefanik or whatever her name is. She looks like she's up there. Like, look what happened in New Jersey. New Jersey's red now. So sometimes you gotta just let things play themselves out. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, yo, RD, you gotta move, man. You gotta get out of New York. I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, I'm all right. Like, I don't really think into that shit too much. I'm a survivor. I'll be all right. Always am, right? Yeah, man. So what I was thinking about doing is hooking up my phone up here. I have this little clip thing, and then drawing down here so you guys can watch what I'm drawing. And then I could read the comments here, like when I'm doing lives. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Thinking about doing that. Let me know in the comments this way. Because on my Patreon, you guys should check it out. I mean, I wouldn't have to explain as much on here as I do on there. Because then you can actually just witness it by watching. It's hard to understand unless you click on it. But yeah, on there I've been drawing a whole black book. I've been filling a whole black book. It was Dover's old black book. I think only 2 pages were written in it, 3 pages or something like that. I got this black book, and I only got like 2 more pages that I could actually draw on and do something on as far as it goes with finishing the black book. Yeah, I got like maybe 2 more designs I have to do, and then the book is complete from beginning to end. And after that, I'm going to go back, scratch through it, see what see if I could come up with any ideas for better any of the stuff I do. Maybe do a little more detailing on each and every one of the pages and stuff. I'll go through that maybe a couple of times over the course of a year. I'll probably go through it a couple of times and add to it, critique it, maybe color it in more, with alcohol markers or something like that. But I'm going to start a new black book, and I'm thinking about just starting a new black book and doing that on my lives, like a brand new black book. Just have the camera down, and just every week I go live, maybe on a Wednesday or something. I'm just sitting there drawing, and I can answer the questions while I'm drawing and give you guys something to look at as you're asking me questions. We can pick a topic or something like that. I'm thinking about doing that, going more live on here, live and shorts. I'm thinking about doing more on here. And if you guys are interested in my actual commentary, like stuff I normally do, you're going to have to go to my Patreon for that. And I might eventually start breaking in little pieces from my Patreon and putting them on here. I have released a few videos from my Patreon, like the Kai Sinet truck that I rode on. You're going to need a bigger boat. I'm writing on that rock out over the East River there with Sammy D3. I think I put that on here for you guys to see. But a lot of action. You could see the actual paint jobs that I do out there. You could see me in action, I guess would be the term. And you can see me painting and drawing in the black book. And I kind of like to keep it that way. I'm going to kind of start gearing towards that. So it's like I've been paying more attention to my Patreon, which I feel I should, being the fact that they pay me. And this I'm looking at it as maybe just doing lives and stuff like that. And I don't know. Let me give me some ideas. Shoot me some stuff. Kind of getting bored. I was just talking about graffiti and growing up and this and that. I don't know. It's getting boring to me. I was thinking about talking shit about other writers, like start to pick a writer and like you have you guys pick a writer in the comments, and then I'll just tell you everything that I could think of with the person as far as it goes with their career, whether they were amazing and they did a lot of graffiti or whether they're kind of all hype and bullshit on the internet that they never did shit. Because there's so many people out there, man, that never did shit. But you got to bring them to my attention. I was thinking about that. You guys ask me about someone, and then I could sit down and do all my interactions, whether I know them or I never met them a day in my life, or whether they're a friend of mine, or whether I went writing with them, whether I think they suck or whether they actually suck, or whether they told on people or something like that. I was thinking about going down that road. But then that kind of falls into the rules that I had about me talking about all the writers that I beat up and fucked up and robbed and stole from. I don't like to do that because it's I have not done that. Like, you guys can't mention anyone on here unless someone was there and they say, I remember I did this and that to this guy or that guy. And then I would intertwine with the story and explain how it really happened, or if it happened at all, or something like that.